Generative AI promises soaring productivity, a world where tedious tasks disappear. But this newfound speed comes at a cognitive price. A groundbreaking study from MIT has pulled back the curtain on this unsettling trade-off. While users write 60% faster, the neural activity for deep thinking plummets by 50%. Even more disturbing, the ability to remember what was written drops by an astonishing 83%. You become a high-speed conduit for information, not a creator or a learner. The phenomenon at the heart of this issue is something psychologists call cognitive offloading. Right. This isn't a new concept. We've been offloading cognitive tasks for centuries, writing to store our memories, calculators to handle complex arithmetic. This frees up mental bandwidth for higher-level thinking. However, the scale and nature of offloading to large language models like ChatGPT are fundamentally different, far more insidious. Instead of just offloading rote memorization or simple calculations, we are now outsourcing the core processes of thinking itself: analysis, synthesis, creativity. This constant reliance on an external digital brain initiates a process known as cognitive atrophy. It's a simple principle of biology: use it or lose it. When you stop exercising a muscle, it weakens and wastes away. Your brain's neural networks are no different. The intricate pathways responsible for deep thought, memory retrieval, and creative problem-solving are like mental muscles. By consistently letting AI handle these tasks, we are depriving these crucial neural circuits of the stimulation they need to stay strong and flexible. This is a more advanced and dangerous version of the Google effect. The immediate effect is a feeling of ease and efficiency. Your brain feels less strained because it's doing less work. EEG data confirms this, showing a 32% reduction in relevant cognitive load for those using AI to write essays. This means the mental effort required to process information and synthesize knowledge is significantly lower. While that sounds good, it's a trap. The struggle, the effortful process of wrestling with ideas, is precisely what builds understanding and strengthens our cognitive abilities. Those who wrote without AI showed higher cognitive load, but also higher curiosity and a greater sense of ownership over their work. This leads us to the central question of our time. Is the productivity boost from AI worth the degradation of our own minds? The allure of instant answers and effortless creation pulls us deeper into a cycle of dependency. Every time we choose the easy path offered by AI, we accumulate a small amount of cognitive debt. Over months and years, this debt compounds, potentially dulling our intellect and diminishing our capacity for independent thought. We are standing at a crossroads, forced to decide whether these powerful tools will be our partners in augmentation or the architects of our own cognitive decline. The numbers from the MIT study are not just statistics. They are a stark warning. They paint a clear picture of a brain on autopilot. When participants used ChatGPT to help with their writing tasks, their output speed increased by an incredible 60%. They produced more text in less time. On the surface, this looks like a massive win for productivity. It seems like a miracle tool that removes the friction of work. But the researchers looked deeper, using electroencephalography, EEG, to monitor what was happening in the brain. What they found was a silent shutdown. The mind's most important machinery dimmed. The key finding: a 50% drop in connectivity between alpha and theta brainwaves. Alpha waves, associated with relaxed focus, calm mental space, accessing memories, creative thinking. Theta waves, crucial for learning and encoding new memories. A strong alpha-theta connection is a signature of deep engagement. Seeing that connection severed by half means the brain is disengaging from the task. That neural disengagement explains the most shocking result: an 83% decrease in memory retention. The information wasn't sticking because the brain wasn't doing the necessary work to make it stick. Learning is not a passive process of information flowing through you. It requires active effort. You need to pay attention. Connect new facts to what you already know. Organize that information into a coherent mental model. The AI-assisted group bypassed this entire process. They were essentially transcribing, not thinking. The words appeared on the screen, but the knowledge never entered long-term memory. This trade-off is the devil's bargain of our new AI era. We are gaining speed, but losing substance. We're producing work we do not understand, and producing work we cannot remember. The convenience of an AI co-pilot lulls our brains into passive compliance. We let the machine handle the difficult cognitive maneuvers while our mental abilities idle. This isn't a hypothetical risk. It's a measurable, physiological reality. Your brain, given the chance to offload to AI, will take the path of least resistance every single time. To understand this, we need to talk about cognitive load, the total mental effort used in your working memory. The most important type is germane load. This is the good kind of effort, the deep processing required to build long-term knowledge. It's the work that makes you smarter. When you use ChatGPT, you drastically reduce this germane load, outsourcing the struggle to the algorithm. While this feels easier, it robs you of the very struggle that builds intellectual muscle. By removing this desirable difficulty, we also remove the opportunity for growth. Many of us are familiar with the Google effect. We forget information we can easily find online, offloading our memory to the cloud. But Google search is an active process of sifting and evaluating. Large language models represent a profound shift to a passive one. You simply ask a question, and the AI delivers a synthesized answer. We are not just outsourcing facts. We are outsourcing the entire process of inquiry and understanding. The Google effect accustomed us to not knowing things. The ChatGPT effect is accustoming us to not thinking about them. The pull of AI is deeply rooted in our brain chemistry. Every time you get an instant answer, your brain gets a small hit of dopamine, the same neurotransmitter involved in pleasure and addiction. This creates an addictive feedback loop. AI becomes a digital slot machine for information, the mental equivalent of junk food. It's satisfying but provides no real nourishment. This addiction to cognitive ease is fundamentally rewiring our brain's motivational structure, conditioning us to prefer the shallow and immediate over the deep and enduring. Students have adopted AI tools with staggering speed, but data reveals a troubling pattern of cognitive outsourcing. They are handing over the most valuable parts of the learning process, the highest-order thinking skills. An estimated 40% of creation and 30% of analysis are now outsourced to AI. Students are skipping the intellectual journey, turning active learning into a passive exercise. The result is a hollow victory, a completed assignment, but an empty mind. When we place different learning methods side by side, the impact of AI becomes undeniable. Researchers compared students using no AI, Google Search, and ChatGPT. The No AI and Google Search groups showed the highest neural engagement and strongest learning outcomes, as they had to actively synthesize information. But for the ChatGPT group, neural engagement dropped by 50%. While they finished tasks faster, their learning outcome was flat. The information flowed through them, resulting in an illusion of productivity without any knowledge gain. The key difference between learning with Google and learning with ChatGPT is active querying versus passive engagement. With a search engine, you're the pilot. You must formulate keywords, navigate varied results, and synthesize sources. This active struggle builds a mental framework, a form of deep learning. By contrast, receiving an AI response is passive. You're a passenger on a tour bus. The AI delivers a prepackaged summary, so you get the answer without building the cognitive map of how to get there. This is why chatbot users often show poorer retention. This shift from active struggle to passive reception is fostering a new and dangerous psychological state among students: AI apathy. This is more than just laziness or a desire for shortcuts. It is a learned indifference to the process of learning itself. When students consistently bypass the core challenges of their education, reading primary text, structuring an argument, synthesizing research, they become disconnected from their own intellectual development. The work no longer feels like their own. The sense of ownership, pride, curiosity begins to wither away. AI apathy manifests as a distinct lack of metacognitive awareness. Metacognition is thinking about your thinking. It lets you self-monitor understanding, identify gaps, and plan how to learn. It's one of the strongest predictors of academic success. But when AI always fills the gaps, self-regulation fades. Students stop asking themselves, "Do I really understand this?" The AI offers a convincing illusion of understanding. Students lose the ability to assess their own competence. A vicious cycle forms. Less mental engagement, less capability and confidence. That fuels more reliance on AI and further skill erosion. Learned helplessness can generalize into apathy toward education. If answers are a prompt away, why bother with the slow, hard work of learning? Classroom discussion deep reading. The immediate, effortless nature of AI makes effortful learning seem obsolete. The long-term consequences of AI apathy are profound. The occasional use of AI to speed up a task may seem harmless, a minor shortcut in a busy day, but the danger is not a single use. It's the cumulative effect of thousands of uses over months and years. Every time we offload a thinking task to an AI, we incur a small cognitive debt. It's like taking out a tiny, high-interest loan against our own future intellectual capacity. The immediate payment is ease and efficiency. The long-term interest compounds into a significant cognitive deficit. This debt accumulates silently, without obvious short-term symptoms. This accumulating debt primarily targets the prefrontal cortex, the brain's executive control center. Complex problem-solving, long-term planning, mental flexibility, regulating our attention. These skills are built and maintained through constant, challenging use. When we delegate analysis, planning, synthesis to AI, we put the prefrontal cortex on an extended vacation. Over time, lack of stimulation dulls its flexibility. Neural pathways that support nimble, adaptive thinking weaken from underuse. Think of it as slow-motion erosion of your mental agility. At first, you might not notice. You feel more productive, clearing your to-do list fast. But underneath, your ability to tackle novel, unstructured problems without AI is diminishing. Wrestle with ambiguity, generate creative solutions from scratch, sustain focus on difficult problems. You become a master of executing prompts, but a novice at unassisted thought. The debt grows with every outsourced paragraph, every summarized report. We trade future problem solving for present convenience. This is a societal risk. Less innovative, less resilient, less capable of addressing complex, future challenges. The very tool we embrace may be undermining our ability to solve problems. The bill for this convenience will eventually come due, and it may be far larger than we can imagine. The concept of cognitive debt becomes particularly alarming when we project it forward over a lifetime. Scenario models developed by cognitive scientists and sociologists are beginning to paint a grim picture. They predict an AI-induced midlife cognitive crisis for heavy users today. An individual who begins relying heavily on large language models in their 20s or 30s may find their cognitive functions dulled and less resilient by the time they reach their 40s and 50s. This is when professional expertise and seasoned judgment should peak, yet these models suggest a potential decline. The projected crisis stems from sustained understimulation of the prefrontal cortex. Over a career, professionals are expected to build on experience, developing a deep well of knowledge and intuition to solve increasingly complex problems. But if a career leans on AI as a cognitive crutch, that deep well is never dug. Instead of robust mental models from effortful practice, the individual builds dependency on an external tool. By midlife, facing a novel problem outside the AI's parameters, their problem-solving can stagnate at an earlier career level. Pew Research Center's 2025 projections echo this concern, finding 52% of Americans fear AI will dull minds. Experts warn of tangible workforce impacts. The midlife cognitive crisis isn't traditional memory loss, like forgetting names. It's a loss of executive function and fluid intelligence, the ability to think logically and solve novel problems independent of acquired knowledge. It's the manager who can't devise a new strategy without AI, and the doctor who struggles to diagnose a rare condition without an algorithm. A career's experience might not translate into genuine wisdom. Experience could mean years of proficient AI use, not personal cognitive growth. This affects leadership innovation and mentorship. How can a senior leader mentor a junior if deep thinking skills are hollowed out? Scenario models warn decades of delegating thinking could leave a workforce experienced on paper, but cognitively fragile in practice, creating a crisis of competence when we need it most. The erosion of cognitive skills is already impacting high-stakes fields like finance and healthcare. Professionals increasingly use AI decision aids to analyze data and assess risk, but uncritical use can cause a dangerous decay of their analytical capabilities. The AI becomes less of a tool and more of a black box authority. Over time, experts become mere operators, losing the ability to spot anomalies or question the model's logic, creating systemic risks in the sectors we depend on most. Bias can escalate into systemic failure. The erosion of professional skills creates a dangerous inability to challenge biased AI outputs. Large language models are trained on vast data sets filled with human biases. As cognitive atrophy sets in, professionals lose the ability to spot these mistakes, becoming a rubber stamp for the machine. This turns AI into a magnifier for error, where a flawed diagnostic AI could lead to widespread misdiagnoses, or a faulty financial model could trigger a market crash. AI is subtly reshaping our inner worlds. It doesn't just show you what you want to see, it learns your deepest emotional triggers and psychological vulnerabilities. This leads to what neuroscientists call supernormal stimuli, exaggerated digital experiences more emotionally potent than reality. Why deal with a complex friendship when an AI companion offers perfect validation? The artificial becomes more attractive than the authentic. We risk retreating into personalized digital bubbles, isolated from real human connection, where the personalized feed becomes a personalized prison. AI companionship promises connection, but erodes empathy. One of the fastest growing areas of AI is companionship. For many, these AI companions offer a lifeline, a non-judgmental space that combats loneliness. But this short-term benefit may come with a long-term cost: the erosion of empathy. Empathy is a messy, difficult skill learned through real-time, reciprocal social interaction. An AI companion is a perfect mirror, programmed to agree and validate. There is no friction. This can make us less patient and skilled in human relationships. We gain the illusion of companionship at the cost of our own humanity. On the surface, the economic picture appears incredibly bright. Widespread AI adoption could add trillions to the economy by boosting productivity. But this creates the neural productivity paradox. Our brains do less, while our economy does more. This boom prioritizes short-term efficiency over the long-term development of human capital. We risk de-skilling our workforce, leaving us efficient at solving yesterday's problems, but unable to tackle tomorrow's. The economic boom could lead to a bust, caused by the cognitive debt we accumulated along the way. AI's effects won't be even, dividing futures by cognitive ability and AI dependency, not wealth. This will create a cognitive chasm between the AI augmented, who use AI as a tool for higher-order thinking, and the AI dependent, who offload cognitive work and lose the ability to think effectively without it. This divide risks creating a future where a small elite thinks for a living, while the majority simply executes. Practical fixes to reduce cognitive debt. First, teach AI literacy early and everywhere. Students must learn when to offload and when to engage. Curricula should require original work and graded process, not just finished drafts. Limitations on full essay outsourcing must be enforced. Checklists that guide thinking, not answers, keep students engaged. These simple tools double material engagement in experiments. They make AI a scaffold rather than a substitute. Second, redesign workflows for deliberate practice. Use AI to generate options, require human pruning and justification. Insist on annotated outputs that show why answers were accepted or rejected. For professionals, require explainable AI and mandate cross-checks against domain knowledge. Rotate tasks to ensure critical skills are exercised regularly. Pair AI use with periodic unassisted challenges to test retained ability. This prevents long-term disengagement. Third, employ neurofeedback and cognitive training. Short focus training restores attention and boosts germane load. Combine these with AI to regain 47% of lost focus in trials. Employers should subsidize cognitive fitness, just as they pay for physical health. Education systems should teach metacognition and effortful learning strategies. Policy can incentivize these programs through grants and standards. Practical investment now prevents higher costs later. Finally, set industry standards and legal guardrails. Require transparency about AI limitations and provenance. Set sector-specific caps on offloading in safety-critical fields like medicine and finance. Fund longitudinal research to monitor cognitive outcomes. Regulation should nudge safe hybrid models, not ban useful tools outright. Thoughtful policy protects both innovation and public cognition. If this helped, like, subscribe, and share. Comment your strategies for deliberate AI use. Follow for deeper guides and practical tools, then turn on notifications to catch the next episode.